Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us at the market site in Times Square, we have Razat Gaurav. He is the CEO of LLamasoft. We're going to take a look at leveraging emerging technologies to enable smarter decisions in supply chain. Razat, thanks so much for joining us at market site. And with all the changes in global trade and with the technology that's becoming available to us, it's exciting to hear how supply chain management is going to completely shift.
Absolutely. There's a lot happening. And supply chains are the core of how businesses operate. And so it's really a great time for companies to think through how to reimagine and rethink how to manage the supply chain. There's a lot going on.
And part of these technologies is also going to help improve the accuracy of demand forecasting.
It is. And you know, if you look at how supply chains have traditionally been managed, it's been an inside-out approach where companies have looked at their processes, their data, and helped make decisions. But in reality, supply chains live in the context of the broader economic ecosystem, right? And so more and more companies are looking to take advantage of outside-in information and really look at market sensing techniques, look at data from channels like the weather, traffic patterns, economic outlook, macroeconomic outlook, and use those external causals to make smarter decisions in the supply chain. And clearly, AI is helping enable that in a big way.
Right, and that was my next question to you, was predictive technologies like AI, like machine learning, to improve the power of automation, these technologies, and we're just at the beginning of what they can do. There's so much more that they can do.
We are in early stages of that evolution, you're right. What's interesting is there's been a lot of focus around the predictive capabilities of AI, and clearly that can add a lot of value. Not enough gets talked about the diagnostic elements of AI because AI can help unravel a lot of the root causes that exist in many supply chains. I'll give you an example of that. In the retail industry, a very common problem is inventory shrinkage, and especially when you're dealing with high-value merchandise, that can account for hundreds of millions of dollars of lost revenue for companies and has a huge impact on margins. With AI technologies, and we've done this work with some of the leading retailers around the world, we can structure and take data feeds from across their supply chain and look at patterns to help come up with the root cause analysis around what's causing that shrinkage to occur, right? And then you can take corrective action around that. So that diagnostic element of AI is very important, especially the root cause analysis. And then the last one is the prescriptive element of AI. So now that you know what the prediction is, you know what the root causes for those patterns are, what do you do about it? What's the most optimal decision to make? And that's again where AI can have a lot of value. That's where the traditional field of operations research and the new emerging field of data sciences are converging to create new capabilities.
What about the physical things we can see? Drones, robots, autonomous vehicles. How will they play into this?
Yeah, all of those things are helping us reimagine the supply chain, and there's a lot of autonomous equipment going into things like how warehouses operate. Robots are clearly enabling things in manufacturing operations and distribution operations in stores for retailers. But I think also what's interesting is how do these physical devices converge with the analytical capabilities. And so there's this whole emerging trend towards edge computing, right? Where you're bringing the smarts to the field. You're bringing the smarts to the edges of the organization where transactions are happening, processes are happening, and decisions are being made. And that's a very promising area. And of course, the 5G technology adoption is going to help enable that because you need to be able to stream data sets that we can't even envision right now to really take advantage of the edge computing potential.
Will 5G start to be implemented in 2020?
It has already been started to be implemented in countries like Korea, China. I think it's yet to be determined, how that'll evolve here in North America. But we're already seeing several different pilots and early stage adoption of 5G technologies around the world.
And is it playing out the way businesses have expected it to?
I think it's in early stages, but it's the early results are very promising. And it's all about, again, from our perspective, being an analytics company and taking advantage of AI-enabled decisioning. For us, what's exciting is the speed and the volume with which we can move data. Because all this AI and the algorithmic science around AI is very exciting, but none of that works without a lot of data, massive amounts of data. So cloud computing was a big radical jump up in enabling AI technologies to be applied in the field. I think the next big step will come through 5G computing.
All right, Razat, thanks so much for joining us at MarketSite. And thank you for joining me on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.